Hello, Navajo Express. Welcome to our first podcast ever. So as we go through this, the Navajo Express Drumbeat is what our podcast will be called. All your questions, anything that you can contribute to ensure that this podcast is successful is much appreciated. My name's Don Digby Jr. I'm the CEO of Navajo, as well as Digby and Navajo Expedited. We are here to be more engaged with you. And by doing that, you're just not going to have me up here once a month, talking. You're going to be able to sit there and listen to whether it's some of our, VPs in maintenance or just some of our techs, whether it's drivers, whether it's payroll, pricing, safety, whatever it may be. This podcast is for everybody. And if you are listening and watching today, I encourage you to reach out to Lance and say, hey, I would like to be interviewed. I would like to have that opportunity to get on there and share some of my thoughts on your experiences at Navajo Express. With that, we're going to get right into it. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of information to talk about, but this is just the one of many. Thank you. Hello, Navajo team. What a wonderful year it started off to be. I will tell you that coming into the year, there's been a lot of people and a lot of things, and clearly plenty of uncertainty of what it looks like in 2023. 2022 was a very good year for our company, even with the high price of fuel and accidents and things like that. We were very blessed. But again, going into 2023, things are starting off strong. But with that being said, we have to be extremely cautious and aware of some of the obstacles that we face. Number one is the rising price of fuel. Just in Colorado alone, the price of gasoline has gone up 83 cents in 1 month. And you combine that, and price of fuel is right there with it, went up $1. But when you combine that with freight starting to slow, rates starting to drop, inflation going up, interest rates going up, it is looking like it could be an extremely challenging year. So what do we need to do in order to be able to get through it and be successful? And I think these are the most important questions that we have going forward is, hey, what can we do to mitigate some of the issues that we have or that we will be encountering? But with that being said, what it does is some of these things that we're going to be talking about briefly on only makes us all better, makes us all stronger. I think the number one is it's accidents. When we're backing up, get out and look. And that goes for any professional driver that's listening to this particular message. And it's not just a matter of so you don't hit someone's door or run in the side of somebody else's trailer. It goes beyond that. It's the safety aspect of it. If the driver next to you is out dolling down his trailer and you don't get out and look, you don't see him, you may have a very serious issue on your hands regarding the safety of other individuals. And the most important thing that we do every single day is be safe. The only mile that counts is the next one. So we've just got to make sure that we have a mind frame to really start looking at accidents. We're going to continue to look at different technology in 2023 that will enable us all to be safer on the road. We put in eSmart, which has been extremely successful for our drivers primarily, because what it's done is it's cut down on the opportunities for speeding tickets. And as we know, when you get a speeding ticket, the first thing that happens is officers start checking all the boxes. So as we go forward, we're going to continue to invest, learn, and understand new technology to continue to make us better. Number two is out of route miles. I think that just, it's so, when you're going down the highway, and as a driver, I get it, I understand it, but when we're going down the highway and you're saying, oh, it's only 20 miles over here to, run by and see a good buddy, whatever it may be, you're 20 miles there, 20 miles back, price of diesel is over $4 a gallon. So when you start putting the math to it, it becomes extremely expensive. And it's not just one doing it, it's 1,000 drivers doing it. So we've just got to make sure that we're doing these little things in order to be able to keep it in check, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that your livelihood continues to grow as well. You saw in 2022, a lot of carriers went and gave huge increases to drivers, which without a doubt is very commendable. But with that being said, when you come into 2023 and you have companies like FedEx who are now furloughing drivers, or you have other companies that are laying off drivers, that tells you the state of the environment. And it's kind of easy to gauge, because as you see your orientation numbers go up, you obviously know that they're going from somebody else coming back to Navajo, because obviously we have miles, money, and home time, and most importantly, always with respect. And so we're able to see it as we continue to fill our trucks and do some pretty fun things. So going into 2023, those are just two simple things that we can do. We're going to be discussing a lot of other opportunities, and I want all of your ideas, your suggestions. So please get them over to our driver first email, so we can at least start understanding these questions, so we can start addressing them. Because again, hey, I don't know everything, but gosh dang it, I'm here to learn. And if there's different things that we can do, I want to do it, because the most important thing that we're going to be doing is be safe. Everything else is secondary. So I was lucky enough to receive some good questions from some of our drivers, and one of them was from Robert Swan, who drives one of our new 23 model trucks, and he was just asking on the getting the reefer unit serviced as well as APU unit serviced. And I'll tell you, on the reefer units, it's every 6 months. We only run our units 1,000 hours a year, which is extremely low for a reefer carrier. Most reefer carriers are double or triple that, up to that 3,000 hour a year range. So by doing it every 6 months, it's really put us in a place, number one, to save on the environment, so we're not dumping a bunch of good oil down the drain, which for no need. Obviously, it doesn't go down the drain, but it's just, we're able to cut some of that oil cost out. The APUs get serviced on every one of your B services, so please make sure that you're getting in on time to get these services done. As well as we've gone through some changes, whether it's operations here in Denver, moving to Florida, it's put us in a position to really reduce our trailer fleet and eliminate some of these older trailers that have been in our running in our fleet for years, and start moving them out and continuing to add the newer trailers into the fleet. So you should be seeing these trailers get touched a lot more often, just because of the sheer reduction of the amount of trailers that we're going to be reducing. So, but again, hey, it's extremely important. Get in and get your gosh darn truck serviced. That's the only way that, number one, that is your tool. That's how you make a living. That's how we continue to feed America. And if our tool is not working, we cannot provide those functions. So we've just got to make sure that, again, hey, you're the captain of that ship. You got to make sure that you're getting in on time to get it serviced. Don't run it. If it's about ready to break, fix it. Don't wait till it's broken, because then all it does is it puts you down on the side of the road. And especially in today's environment with the weather that we've had throughout the whole entire country, it doesn't matter if you're in Phoenix or upstate New York, the weather has been cold. So the last thing we want is you on the side of the road with a broken down truck when it's cold out. But make sure you always carry your jacket and the proper shoes as well. We have another question regarding which I already addressed. Hey, how do we start making more money per mile? That's always a slippery slope, obviously, because a lot of people gave a lot of money. Now what they're doing is they're laying off drivers and putting them back on the street, which is not something that I want to do, nor will I do. And through our dedicated programs that we've had, primarily with our ConAgra, which has been extremely successful, by just paying our drivers flat rate per day. This way, it just takes the whole guess out of, hey, or more importantly, it says, well, if I only run another 100 miles here, and maybe it's kind of legal but not really legal, and you're trying to cram pennies into your pocket. That's something that I want to avoid. And by going to daily pay, we've been successful, or getting paid by the move, which has really helped our drivers increase their earnings, as well as for all of us just to understand, what are we making a day, instead of guessing. and more importantly, putting you in a position to do something that I don't feel and you don't feel is the right thing to do, and that's obviously keeping it safe all the time. So as we go forward, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these opportunities and a lot more of these dedicated opportunities. One thing that was asked in the same question is, with Costco gone, what does that mean? Costco was a very good account, and they're very good people. But with that being said, we just never had a profitable relationship with them. And since us leaving the depot in Salt Lake City, and then us again electing not to lower prices in the Aurora DC, has put us in a better position financially to continue to grow. Because obviously, hey, they're a big company with and a lot of freight, and sometimes maybe you find yourself chasing things that you shouldn't be chasing. But with that being said, excellent people. The individuals here in Aurora, they wanted to keep us on. Our service was impeccable. Our safety was very good, but claims were extremely high, and high claims don't lead to profit. And none of which are the driver's fault, but it always seems to kind of come back into the truckers on the truckers' books. So those are just a couple quick examples. Another question I had was, hey, are we going back to W9s? I love hoods. I'm a hood guy. I think that they're pretty to look at, they're fun to drive, but with the price of fuel the way it is right now and continuing to go up with no end in sight, it's not feasible to go put a 6 mile to the gallon truck on the highway. We've got to do everything we can to be efficient, aerodynamic, and most importantly is fuel efficient, and hence the reason why we're picking some of these trucks. You'll see that we have decided to go back to the Kenworth, so you'll start seeing a lot more of the new T680s in, just primarily because of reliability of the new trucks, as well as the economic advantages that running the new T680s provide over the international trucks that we were running for the last couple of years. So you're going to start seeing some of those changes as we see fuel drop, and I think as we get into our next administration here in another 2 years, we'll see the Keystone Pipeline open up. We'll see America start reinvesting back into America, and we're going to see inflation go down. We're going to see the price of fuel go down. We'll see a lot of extremely positive things for the United States. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen in the next 2 years, and we're going to continue to see it. So without a doubt, the next 2 years, you will not see Navajo purchasing any large quantities of W9s or Peets. And primarily just it's not the right time to do it to be responsible. We had some other questions. Had some other questions on, hey, what's the future of Navajo look like? Which I think is an excellent question, and it's a fair question. It's always fun to be able to address it on something like this on our first podcast, which I probably should have started off with that. But 2023, again, it's going to be hey, we're going to have to buckle up the chin strap. No question about it. We're going to continue to work on dedicated opportunities, which we currently have already secured 2 for this year. One in Russellville, Arkansas with Shag Trucks, and the other is going to be in Indianapolis with Shag Trucks. And that's kind of a different area that we're really focusing on. Keeping the dedicated, the daily pay is by creating new opportunities. So that's something that we're excited about. We hope and we foresee roughly 20 to 25 locations with these Shag Trucks. At each location, you'll be anywhere 3 to 5 trucks. So it's just kind of a fun little deal we're doing. On the over the road, it's going to stay stagnant. We're not going to see any growth there. It's because again, we got to buckle up our chin straps. We got to make sure that we, reduce accidents, eliminate accidents, not reduce them. Let's eliminate them. And outer route miles. These are just big things that we need to do in order to maintain profitability through 2023 and 2024. So all we're doing right now is we're going to warm up, get ready for 2024, and then in 2025 hopefully have some fun changes with the new administration. So With that, I thank all professional drivers for everything you do. I appreciate the hard work, the efforts that you put in, especially in today's environment. I know it's not easy. Unfortunately, a lot of the four-wheelers you pass every day don't realize how difficult our job can be at times. And but at the end of the day, hey, we're here to support you. That is what our job is. That's what we're going to continue to do. We're going to continue to look for new opportunities, fun opportunities that will really be able to cater to our professional drivers. With that, thank you. Excited about 2023. Let's buckle down. Let's be safe. Let's cut down on outer route miles. And more importantly, respect each other.
Name is Charlie Hamilton. You always can see me walking around the yard with my 3 dogs, Little Joe, AJ, and Bully. I've been with Navajo going on 24 years now. I've been driving for 43. Only worked for basically 4 companies that whole time. Enjoy playing golf when I get a chance to. I have a large family on my wife's side of the family, so I enjoy doing our Sunday night family dinners and when I get home, and my grandchildren. Got my youngest one at Cassius, we get to see quite regularly, and then Diego, who's at New Mexico State, and I have 2 daughters and my granddaughter and grandson that live in Shenandoah, Virginia. So,
what are some of the things that you find that you enjoy most about being a driver?
Well, I never was an office person. I worked about maybe 2 months in an office as an estimator. I was also a welder too, but I just didn't like the people looking down my back at everything I do. So, driving the truck kind of fit that part of my life. So,
what's one of the most rewarding things about being a driver?
Kind of a getting. I don't know. It's being able to help some people over the years. Kind of deal where I've stopped and helped broke down motorists and other drivers. It used to be a pretty common thing for back in the older days to do that with other drivers and stuff. I have a little bit of mechanical ability, so we can always figure things out.
If someone's looking to get into the profession of being a professional driver, what's some advice you would give them?
Try to find something that fits your lifestyle, whether it's a regional, if you have a family you don't want to miss, try getting a local. I know it's doing OTR is kind of tougher. And that's where most people have to get started. But as soon as you get a chance, always try to find your niche in the business.
If you had to kind of describe what it's like to be a Navajo driver, how would you describe that?
Well, I've been fortunate. The family atmosphere. I've had some really awesome driver leaders, including the one I have now, Sylvia. That makes a whole difference in the world. Having a good driver leader, making sure you stay busy. That's one thing that Navajo has always been able to do is keep me busy when I'm gone away from home.
Where are some of your favorite places to visit or to be able to drive through while you're on the road?
Well, we used to do a run from Rochester, New York, and White City, Oregon, which is down by Medford, and driving across Oregon, across all the 2-lane highways, around the Crater Lake area. Was always, driving through the redwood trees and stuff. That was always a pretty cool drive to do.
What do you think is more challenging, driving in summer when you have more of a chaotic weather, or winter when there's a little bit more?
Oh, it's definitely winter. I mean, I run the I-70 corridor. Used to run it quite regularly. Having to get out and throw chains and whatnot. So definitely the winter. You just never know what you're going to get, especially when you get to Wyoming, Nebraska. Even Kansas. I've been in a few blizzards. North Dakota, where they had 36 inches of snow once, where I was there for 4 days, before I can get out. So, definitely the winter months.
What's one of the most interesting or wild stories from the road that you can tell us and share with everybody?
Oh, I guess When I first started driving, I used to go into New York City, Queens, New York a lot, and my load wasn't ready. So I dropped the trailer there. I bobtailed back out into New Jersey. I played a round of golf with this gentleman. They invited me to their house there, right there at the foot of the bridge, George Washington Bridge. Got to eat dinner, and went down to the basement. This guy, he was a nautical man. He had all these nautical maps of the area, and he also blew glass. So it was kind of weird at the time, but it was a very neat experience, something I won't ever forget. And and gave him rides in the trucks at the time. He was really wanted to do that, so I took him into Queens to pick up my next load and brought him back home.
Now I know everybody knows you have your 3 best friends with you all the time. How important is it for a driver to kind of have a companion like that on the road?
Well, it's not for everybody, because there's a lot of responsibility. I mean, you just you always got to stop and let them out. Make sure that they're taking. It's like having children on the truck, right? You got to make sure that you take care of your puppies first before you do anything else. So always get them out first where we stop. So it's but it gets me out of the truck, gets me walking around. And my last dog rode with me 15, almost 16 years. Little Joe's been with me 8, and the other 2 of the boys have been with me 4. So I've had a dog in the truck for a while. So it's it definitely gets me out of the truck.
When you decide that it's all said and done and you want to hang it up and kind of park your truck for the last time, what's your plans and what do you see for the future of you outside of the truck?
Well, I do got a lot of work around the house to do. Get caught up on some of that. Maybe do a little bit of traveling. We have my pickup and a 5th wheel trailer, so maybe load up and go back to Virginia to see the other my grandkids back there for quite some time. So other than that, just stay at home and enjoy golf and some of the friends I haven't seen in quite some time.